A rising star of the New York jazz scene, Abe Ovadia's career has spanned over 2 decades and has taken him all over the United States. And now, he's coming to Plymouth. Julie invited Abe via Zoom to discuss his upcoming concert at the Plymouth Public Library, as well as his life as a musician and music teacher.
I'm so pleased to welcome a jazz guitarist, Abe Ovadia, today to the program. Abe, lots to talk about with you, but first of all, can you tell me a little bit about what it's like to be a jazz guitarist and how you got to where you are right now?
Being a jazz guitarist is, pretty a wonderful career. I'm in a very privileged position to make the art I love making. This is my favorite genre of music to perform. Having performed so many genres of music over the years as a professional musician, everything from country to rock and roll to pop. Over the last decade, playing jazz is my primary art form that I play. Starting off, I grew up playing all sorts of music. I then, once I decided I was going to be a professional musician, I, studied at the Berklee College of Music, where I cut my teeth. Eventually going to New York University, where I got my master's in music. And after getting my master's, then, basically got my career started as a professional jazz guitarist. And then that's where the journey got started in about 2009. And that's where the journey started, and I'm still on that
and you're still
journey
there
today in 2022.
Okay, so the reason we're talking to you today is because you are going to be appearing at the Plymouth Public Library on Monday, March 7th. You're going to be giving a concert and a talk. You're going to talk to the audience all about jazz, all about music. And I asked you before we went on air about jazz, because jazz is the one form of music that a lot of people don't get, because a lot of it can be off the cuff. It can be jazz musicians just sitting together and creating something right from scratch without any music. And it's a little bit intimidating to people who don't understand it. So what is the passion behind jazz?
The passion behind jazz is, the spontaneity, being in the moment, and that you can create something from nothing. The interaction that you have with the musicians on the spot, that it can go from one groove to another groove, that anything can happen, that a solo can start from something that's, very, very quiet and then go to such a high energy, interaction. And that at any moment's time that you can tell a story, and express something that you didn't even know you had within you. And the passion is also that you really are, telling a story from your heart, and not just playing a piece of music. So you really are expressing, I guess you could say, your soul or your true self, instead of just playing what's on the page.
Got it. Okay. It's very individualized and very movable. It's malleable. It almost reminds me of a bunch of artists that get together and paint together on a canvas and come up with whatever they come up with, and it's beautiful. That's really a cool thing. So when people go to this event at the library, what will they expect for the hour that you're there?
They'll expect a couple of different things. Myself and my colleague Michael Feinberg, a great jazz bassist, also quite world-renowned. We're going to be playing quite a wide variety of selections, not just jazz standards, but also some contemporary piece of music, some non-jazz pieces that the audience will know. And we're going to be playing and also talking about the process of improvisation, how this music is made on the spot. Because, as you mentioned, people go to hear jazz and they say, how is this made? How are they making this music up on the spot? And we're going to explain how that process is done in a rather simplistic way. So when they leave this concert, they're going to say, okay, now I get it. It's not that complicated to understand. So whether they're at a restaurant or when they're going, maybe they can go to a jazz club now, and they'll finally be able to, really appreciate jazz for what it is. And I feel like it's my responsibility, because this is my passion. This is the art I believe in. This is the music that, is everything to me, is my life's work, that it's my responsibility to share not just share the art with, the world, but also share how it's, created and the process behind it.
Right, that's a beautiful answer. That's perfect. Now, you also have a music academy, Monmouth Music Academy, that you founded in New Jersey. And you outline on your website all about how your theory behind how you teach music to children and others, I assume. What is it about teaching music that pulls at your heart, as well as performing it?
Well, and it goes the same for jazz. If music is, my passion, it's, music is transformative. Playing an instrument is transformative. Learning the process of music and music theory, there's so much behind it. It changes the way you think, just becoming a more well-rounded person, the way you see the world, the mathematics behind it and the theories. So it's just what I believe, and it can really change the way you think, and how, not just the way you see the world or the way you see people. And so it's just, I feel like it's my responsibility to share this with everybody, and it's what I'm passionate about. So I decided to, I was going to open up a school, and I decided to do it in my hometown. We opened the school in 2019, and it's been about 3 years. We're very happy there. All of our teachers, are great educators, very passionate about what they do, and I'm very happy there.
And so you have students that can learn all kinds of things, and you opened right before the pandemic hit, so I assume that you had to transform from in-person to virtual learning. How did that go, and how did the students react?
It was very hard because, the business, it was right when we started cooking, like we finally feel like we got off and running, and this, we started getting a buzz in the neighborhood, and I felt like I could finally breathe after all the work we put in the first 6 months, and it was really challenging. But I'm a person who just tries to, kind of accept the things I can control. And I said, we're just going to switch over to virtual. And believe it or not, I actually did it before we even shut down, because I was really concerned about the safety of my mother, because she's high risk and she worked there at the school. So I actually pulled the plug before the state did, and I said, and didn't leave anyone the choice. I said, we're doing it, and we switched over to virtual. We lost about half our students because they didn't want to even have that option. But we moved over, and it was very difficult. And some students actually flourished virtually. Yeah, believe it or not, they were able to really. Some students, are actually learn better over the computer. You have to teach completely differently. Yeah, right. Because you can't actually play in time with the students. Yeah. So you have to learn completely differently. Right. So in closing, you've been lauded many times as a wonderful premier jazz musician. And so what can we expect to take away after we visit you at the Plymouth Public Library on March 7th? I think it's going to be a very enjoyable concert for those who attend. I think that we're going to create many jazz fans for those who enjoy music, who have never seen a jazz concert before. I think that there are going to be those who enjoy guitarists who are going to enjoy the concert. I think that we're going to, people who will go to the event will hopefully come back and see me. And I think I will create some new fans for myself as well. And I think it's just going to be a wonderful program. All right, excellent. So Abes Ovadia, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to March 7th at the Plymouth Public Library. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Abe and Julie. The music you've been listening to during this interview is Abe's original music. Don't miss seeing him live in person and free at the March 7th event at the Plymouth Public Library. For more information about Abes Ovadia, visit abesovadia.com.
If you've enjoyed this video by The Local Scene, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching.